Jackie Chan's son detained in Beijing and faces 3 years behind bars over marijuana charges. Hong Kong megastar Jackie Chan's only son finally made headlines this week.
Jaycee Chan has recently revealed a troubling truth about his renowned father, the legendary Jackie Chan, during a moment when he almost left the world. While Jackie Chan basks in fame, his son struggles in silence, a stark contrast to his father's glittering success. What secrets lie behind Jackie Chan's silence about his son's troubled life? Let us uncover the urgent truths and deep conflicts within this famous family. The shadowed path of Jackie Chan's firstborn. Jaycee Chan's life is very different from his father's successful career. While Jackie has enjoyed almost constant success, he has tried to make a name for himself in the entertainment industry, but hasn't been able to achieve the same level of success. This big difference in their careers makes you wonder about their relationship and why Jackie Chan rarely talks about his oldest son. To understand why Jackie and his son are strained, we need to look back at his teenage years, when he was growing up in the rich areas of Los Angeles, California. During this important time in his life, he faced many difficulties that would shape his future. He went through some serious ups and downs, including a major failure in his career and even spending time in prison. The relationship between father and son is complicated. His struggles make the differences between their lives even more clear. While Jackie enjoys a life of wealth and success, he has had to deal with the tougher side of life, trying to create his own identity separate from his father's huge legacy. This has led to a tense and often distant relationship between them, with little public acknowledgement or discussion about their family ties. Understanding why Jackie is so reserved when it comes to talking about his son helps us see the bigger picture of what fame does to family relationships. It also highlights the pressures and expectations that often fall on the children of celebrities, and how these can impact their personal and professional lives. As we look closer at their story, it becomes clear just how challenging and complicated their father-son relationship really is, showing us what it's like to live in the shadow of a global superstar. He was born into a life of wealth and ease. As the only child of famous parents, he grew up surrounded by luxury. His mother, Joan Lin, a popular actress from Taiwan, married Jackie Chan in 1983, and they had their son the following year. From a young age, he was the center of his mother's world, and she found it difficult to say no to him, much to his father's quiet frustration. Jackie Chan, who had a tough upbringing and had to work hard to escape poverty, wanted to teach his son the values of hard work and humility. However, he naturally leaned towards a life full of luxury, showing an early love for expensive things and late-night social events. As he entered his teenage years, this love for luxury and nightlife only grew stronger. He indulged in these pleasures often, using his father's money freely to support his lifestyle. Jackie Chan, although he didn't want his son to experience the hardships he did, also didn't want him to take their comfortable life for granted. He hoped to teach him the importance of working for what you have, but he seemed to be following a different path than his father wanted. His love for luxury started to overshadow the values his father tried to teach him, leading him further away from the lessons of hard work and humility. His nights out started to change his life. Navigating the shadow of fame. Night after night, Jaycee enjoyed the city's lively nightlife. However, this soon began to affect his personal hygiene. These habits quickly impacted his schoolwork, and it wasn't long before Jaycee started losing interest in his studies. His time at the College of William & Mary in Williamsburg was cut short after only 2 semesters, mostly due to his frequent absences without any valid reasons. Deciding to leave college greatly disappointed his parents. They had high hopes for him and dreamed of seeing him succeed academically. Like many parents, they wanted a bright future for their son, but Jaycee wasn't moved by their expectations and grew tired of his mother's constant scolding. In a bold decision to escape the pressure at home and create his own path, Jaycee boarded a plane to Hong Kong in 2003, determined to pursue a career in music. This move was a big step for him, giving him a chance to assert his independence and perhaps follow in his father's footsteps, who had found success in the entertainment industry years before. When he arrived in Hong Kong, Jaycee was full of hope. He was eager to make a name for himself in the local music scene, especially in the genre of cantopop, which mixes Western pop with traditional Chinese music. This genre was hugely popular, and Jaycee believed that his unique talents and fresh ideas could help him rise to stardom. Jaycee first discovered his love for a popular music genre in Hong Kong during a childhood visit to the lively city. This passion inspired him to create his first cantopop album in 2004, which he simply named Jaycee. He wrote most of the songs himself, and even though there was a strong promotional effort when the album was released, it didn't resonate with listeners. The response to the album was disappointing, marking the beginning of several struggles in Jaycee Chan's early career. Hoping to change his luck, Jaycee decided to follow in the footsteps of his father, the famous Jaycee Chan. Jackie was not only a well-known actor, but also a successful singer who released 20 albums that he wrote himself. In the 1980s, when Jackie was at his peak, acting and music often went hand in hand in Hong Kong. Jaycee thought that by stepping into acting, he might be able to win over more fans, just as his father did. But even with these efforts, his career continued to face challenges, proving that having a famous name doesn't guarantee success in the entertainment world. Despite his best efforts, he learned that success in the entertainment industry is a complex puzzle that requires more than just talent and a well-known name. Jaycee might be a talented singer, but it's unlikely he'll reach the same level of fame in movies as his famous father. Most of the movies he's been in haven't been well received by critics. He doesn't often get leading roles, which makes it harder for him to become popular with audiences, especially since his father is such a respected actor in Hong Kong. While some people might initially feel sorry for Jaycee because of the high expectations, he really has to work hard to earn their full respect and admiration. To try and win over fans in both Hong Kong and mainland China, Jaycee even gave up his American citizenship to become a Chinese citizen. He thought this decision would prove his commitment and connection to his Chinese heritage. Despite his efforts, the transition from being known as his father's son to carving out his own identity has been a challenge. Jaycee moves to Hong Kong, hoping for a fresh start. The struggle for identity in the shadow of a legend. He loved his country very much and hoped that this passion would help improve his reputation in Hong Kong and bring people to the theaters to see his movies. But the young actor focused on making romance, drama, and comedy films, genres that weren't popular in the busy city. The people of Hong Kong preferred kung fu and action comedies, just like the successful films his father, Jackie Chan, was known for. Unfortunately, his movies didn't impress critics or audiences. His 2012 film Double Trouble only made $9,000 at the Hong Kong box office and $45,000 in the United States. The movies did so poorly that the Chinese government had to step in, requiring that they be shown in half of the country's theaters. But even with this help, the film struggled to attract viewers and often had disappointing earnings. He faced a lot of criticism and setbacks, even though he had support from his father and connections in the entertainment industry. His efforts to win over the Chinese audience didn't work, and they ended up seeing him as just a flashy spender without real talent. Despite all his efforts, he couldn't shake the perception that he was only famous because of his father. His struggle continued, with each movie release bringing more challenges and fewer successes. Being the child of someone famous like Jackie Chan brings its own set of expectations and challenges. Knowing this, Jackie wants to teach his son the importance of responsibility and hard work. To drive this point home, Jackie has made a surprising decision. He has announced that he will not leave his fortune to his son. Instead, Jackie plans to donate his wealth to various charities. He believes that if his son can't build his own fortune through effort, he would probably waste any inheritance he received. Jackie's decision is influenced by his own life experiences. He worked extremely hard to build his career and find success. He sees his son's spending habits as careless, which goes against the values Jackie has always lived by. This tough stance on inheritance isn't just about money, it's a message to his son, encouraging him to understand the value of earning success on his own and not depending on what others have achieved before him. He has always struggled to understand the value of hard-earned money, a lesson that many others grasp naturally. His love for lively, extravagant events has remained strong, seemingly impervious to any external criticism. Even though his father repeatedly and sternly disapproved, his enthusiasm for glamorous nightlife and a costly lifestyle never wavered. Despite his father's best efforts to guide him toward more responsible behavior, he continued down a path of indulgence, which eventually led to even more serious problems, causing significant turmoil within the Chan family. This escalating situation reached a critical point on August 14, 2014, a day that would forever alter his life. On that day, he was arrested in his own home by the Beijing police. Both were accused of possessing illegal drugs, a serious charge that carried heavy consequences. The police conducted a thorough search of his apartment and discovered more than 85 grams of marijuana. This shocking find underscored the vast difference between the values his father had tried to instill in him and the choices he had made. It marked a pivotal and deeply troubling event, not only for him, but for his entire family, highlighting the severe consequences of veering off the path of responsibility and prudence. Trouble finds Jaycee, and his family struggles to cope. The Chan family struggle with scandal. The impact of Jaycee's arrest and the events that followed sent shockwaves through the Chan family. It became clear just how serious the situation had become and how far-reaching the consequences were. The incident not only brought public shame, but also strained the family's relationships, forcing them to confront the reality of his actions and the damage they had caused. The once tightly knit family was now grappling with the fallout of his choices, facing a future filled with uncertainty and heartache. As the days passed, the weight of the situation became even more apparent. His arrest wasn't just a personal failure, it was a public scandal that affected everyone connected to him. His father, who had always emphasized the importance of living a life of integrity and responsibility, was left to pick up on pieces of a shattered family reputation. The contrast between his reckless behavior and his father's teachings could not have been more stark. The family's struggle to come to terms with what had happened was a painful reminder of how quickly life can change when one strays from the right path. The legal proceedings that followed added another layer of stress and uncertainty as the family faced the possibility of severe legal repercussions for Jaycee. The entire ordeal served as a harsh lesson, not just for him, but for everyone involved. It became a testament to the importance of the values his father had tried so hard to impart, values that, if followed, might have prevented the entire crisis. He felt like everything in his life was falling apart. He knew he was in big trouble. In China, the laws are very strict when it comes to drug-related crimes. The authorities don't go easy on anyone caught with drugs or involved in drug activities. The consequences are severe, with people facing the possibility of life in prison or even the death penalty. While his friend, the Taiwanese actor Kaiko, was released after just 2 weeks, he wasn't so lucky. The son of Jaycee Chan was not only charged with having and using drugs, but also with letting others use drugs at his place. In China, these crimes are taken very seriously. They can lead to execution or a long, miserable life in a faraway prison with no chance of getting out. He prepared himself for what could be the most terrifying and painful hours of his life as he waited for his trial. And to make things worse, he knew he couldn't count on his father for help. Jaycee Chan had already made it clear that he wouldn't use his influence to get his son out of trouble. His father did everything he could to lessen the seriousness of his son's punishment, even though the charges were serious. His parents were deeply disappointed by what their son had done, so they chose not to attend his court hearings. His trial started on January 9, 2015 in Beijing, after he had already spent 148 days in jail. In the end, he was sentenced to 6 months in prison and fined 2,000 yuan, which is about 320. Considering the harsher penalties he could have faced, this was a relatively light sentence. It's also important to mention that by the time he was sentenced, he had already served more than 4 months of the 6-month term, so he didn't have much time left to serve in prison. Despite the short time left in his sentence, the impact of these events would likely last much longer for everyone involved. Even though the situation remained unchanged, life in jail was incredibly difficult. Jaycee Chan, despite all the promises he made, did nothing to ease his son's hardships. The famous actor, known for his vast network and influence, didn't use his connections to improve his son's tough conditions in jail. After prison, he tries to rebuild his life quietly, his new life in Taipei. After being released from prison on February 13, 2015, he chose to lead a much quieter life, moving to Taipei to live with his mother. This was a big change from his earlier life, where he was often in the spotlight, attending events and working in the entertainment industry. Before his arrest, he was involved in several movies, but they didn't achieve much success, and his music didn't gain much attention either. The media didn't help, often labeling him as a playboy and wastrel, and he lost several endorsement deals after his arrest. His time in prison became a crucial moment for him. When he came out, he was more thoughtful and determined to turn his life around. He mentioned in interviews that he felt self-conscious after his release, often wearing a mask in public to avoid being recognized. His return to the public eye was careful and low-key. He apologized for his past mistakes and showed a strong commitment to improving himself. He even reached out to others who were part of his past troubles like Kaiko and showed support by bringing extra masks to their meetings. His relationship with his famous father, Jaycee Chan, also changed. Jaycee Chan had once said that he wouldn't leave his fortune to his son, encouraging him to become self-reliant. But after his time in prison, their relationship seemed to improve, showing signs of maturity and reconciliation. Now he is focused on personal growth and staying out of trouble. He is working hard to reshape his public image and live a more responsible life. His journey from a troubled past to a more peaceful and responsible lifestyle shows his efforts to move away from old controversies and build a new path toward redemption. His biggest challenge now is to maintain this new direction and prove to the world that he truly has changed. His hopes of reviving his artistic career were completely destroyed by his time in prison. In Hong Kong, where his career was already faltering, no film producer wants to be associated with him now. He has lost the support of the audience and his colleagues in the film industry, making it nearly impossible for him to regain his footing. Eventually, he returned to the United States, a place he might now regret ever leaving. His lack of evident talent and charisma, which stand in stark contrast to his father's, hasn't opened any doors to success. Being the son of one of the world's most famous stars doesn't guarantee that you'll inherit his fame, status, or wealth. As he continues to navigate life after prison, he faces the harsh truth that the mistakes of his past have left lasting scars, not just on his career, but on his reputation as well. The road ahead is uncertain, and despite his efforts to stay out of trouble, the shadow of his past looms large, reminding him that some mistakes can never be fully erased. Can a person truly escape the shadows of their past mistakes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful discussions.